Well, greetings, friend. I hope you're having a great day today. This is going to be a great day. This has been a great day. I don't know what time you're watching this or what time you're getting this, but I do them in the mornings, and usually try to get them recorded in the mornings. And one of the things I do in the morning is when I get up, I'm thinking it's going to be a great day. You know, you've heard the saying, "Seize the day." Well, that's what I try to do. Seize the day. The day is going to be as good as you make it. Your outlook is going to determine how you enjoy the day. Your attitude is going to determine your altitude, in the sense of, if you wake up and you're thinking, "Oh man, it's another day. It's a Monday." I hate to mention that. It's Monday all day long. I'm recording this on Monday. I think it'll be one day next week when it broadcasts. But you get up and you think, "Oh man, I gotta face another day. It's gonna be another day just like the last day was, and this week's gonna be just like last week." And woe is me. I just want to go back to bed. Why don't you give the day to somebody that's gonna do something with it? There are a lot of people who would love to be able to get up and do what we do every day, and we kind of take it for granted. We get used to it, we get satisfied, we get comfortable, and then we go on in our lives, and we live our lives, and we don't realize what a blessing we have. What a great, you got it made. It's a great day. Take that to the bank. Take it from the Jumping Penguin. It is a great day. I don't know what's going to happen today, but it's going to be good. It's going to be wonderful. This is going to be the best day ever. Somebody said, "You had a good day? What's the best day you've ever had?" I hadn't had it yet, but it's probably going to be today. I hope it's going to be today, and I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a profitable day. And I got a letter here, and if you'd like to ask me questions, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. In fact, let me write a note down here. Anyway, you can write me a letter, drop me a line. It's the Unstoppables broadcast. That's what we call this. Unstoppable being the fact that, we're the only ones who can stop us. We're the only ones who can keep us from succeeding. It doesn't matter what goes on the outside, as long as the outside don't get on the inside. The Titanic was made to float. It was made to pass through the sea, and everything went great with the Titanic as long as what was outside stayed outside. Now, I don't care what kind of problems you have. I don't know what's going on in your life. I don't know what it is, what kind of rough seas you're facing. But as long as the problems on the outside don't get on the inside, you're going to be all right. Just keep that at guard the gate of your mind, guard the gate of your heart, and don't let negative things come in. Don't let, I know a guy, love him to death, great guy, but his attitude is totally negative. It's totally bad. And I have tried to help him and tried to help him and tried to help him. And when I try to help him, he tells me why I can't help him. Well, you just don't understand how bad it is. Man, you got people, and not just him, you got people that, they look at their lives and they think, all of these bad situations are in my life, and so I deserve to have a bad attitude. I deserve to have a negative attitude because of all these bad things. But they got it backwards. You got all those bad things because of the negative attitude. If you'll change the attitude, it'll change those things out there. I talk about sowing and reaping, and it's a Bible principle. I'm going to answer this question. I got a question here that someone had asked about the Bible and Bible prophecy. But sowing and reaping is a principle that's true no matter where you are, who you are, what your situation is. If you're standing in the Grand Canyon and you yell out, "Hello," what's going to come back? Hello. It's going to come back. If you yell out, "I hate you," then what's going to come back? I hate you. If you yell out, "I love you," what's going to come back? I love you. Sowing and reaping is true in life. Somebody says, "I got all these terrible things that are going on in my life." Well, stop sowing bad thoughts. Stop sowing negative attitudes. Stop expecting things bad to happen. When I was a kid, 45 years ago, I can remember watching. No, let's see. That'd make me 15. I didn't watch cartoons when I was 15. Let's say 54 years ago. I was a kid. Saturday morning, you get up and you watch cartoons. You know, we get up, watch cartoons a while, and then go play. But on Saturday morning, we get up, and there was a cartoon called Gulliver's Travels. I don't know if you remember it or not, but you know, Gulliver is the tall guy, and he goes to a country where everybody's really little. And one of the really little guys, name was Glum. And Glum's favorite line was, "It'll never work, I know it." That's what he said all the time, like Eeyore on Winnie the Pooh. "It ain't gonna work, thanks for noticing me." And a lot of people live their lives that way. But if you would turn your life around and start sowing good, positive, uplifting things, those are the things you're going to get back. I mean, you get what you put into it. You go look at a bank account. I got a letter a while back. I got a letter last year that, and it was a letter telling me I had several $1,000s in a bank account that I didn't even know about. And I'm like calling the bank, "Hey, tell me about this," and they explained it to me where it came from and how that it had been accruing interest for a while, but I had forgotten about it, and they told me about it. I said, "Well, just hang on to it. You just keep petting it like you're doing. Just keep feeding it like you're doing it, and keep it growing like it's going." Amen. But if you go to a bank account, I got a bank around here. So where's that bank? I got a bank here. Now this bank here is this is a Bailey's Animal Cracker Bank, and one of the grandsons, he loves to come here. Barnum's Animal Crackers. He loves to put money in here, and he puts it in here, and then there's a little key on the bottom where you can get you can open the bank and get the money out. And you're only going to get out of this what you put into it. Well, that's the way it is with life. You're going to get out of life what you put into it. You're going to get out of life. You're going to get out of today what you put into it. If you look at today and think it's going to be great, it's going to be great. Now, bad things might happen. You might have a tough time. I talked last night at church about years ago. I was coming out of the camp, Christian Dale's camp, had a wreck. The truck came around the corner, hit us head on, and I may have mentioned it before. And the ambulance came, put me on I smashed my knee. They put me on a backboard and set me down in an ant bed, and I'm looking over there at the car, it's smashed up, and I'm thinking, I don't know what's going on, but I know something good's going to come from this. And whatever happens today, if you'll look at it the right way, something good is going to come from it. Just take it and say, "Hey, I don't know where this fits. I got a puzzle around here." I've put together one puzzle in the last probably 55 years of my life, and my wife and I put together a puzzle that someone had bought me, this World War II tanks. And that's the only puzzle that I've put together in years. I do a lot of reading. I just can't see sitting down and putting a puzzle together. But I digress. When you get a puzzle, what's the first thing you do? You first of all, you find a picture you like. You find a picture you like and you say, "I'm going to put that puzzle together." And then you find one that has several, however many pieces you want with that puzzle. And then you turn it all, you lay it all out there, and you turn it where the color is up so you can see what the colors are. And then you find the edges, and you put the edges around here, and then now you're looking at the picture, and now everything in this pile of pieces goes within that border there. It's gonna go in there somewhere. I may take a piece and I say, I don't know where this piece fits. I don't know where it goes. You don't know where it goes yet. Set it aside, and it will eventually fit. You'll eventually find a place to put it. It's like Bible study. I teach I have a lesson called Jigsaw Bible Study. And it's basically the same thing. There's some basic truths that you take from the Bible, and you believe these things, salvation by faith in Christ, and you can't lose your salvation, and you ought to go to church, and, sin's bad, and heaven's great, and hell's not so hot. Well, it is hot. Hell's bad. And you got these basic things. That's That's the basic framework. That's the outline. That's the edge of it. You got the borders. And so anything in the Bible is going to fit within those borders. So whatever you take and you come to a verse and you say, I don't understand where this verse goes. This verse confuses me. I've always been taught something else, and this verse just does not look like it fits with what I believe. And so a lot of times what people will do is throw it away. No, don't throw it away. Save it. It'll eventually fit. Or what some people do is they look at it and they say, this piece doesn't fit where I think it ought to go, so I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to change it, and I'm going to make it fit over here. No, don't do that. It'll mess the whole thing up. You want to be able to have everything fit together. And just like you put a puzzle together, when you have things that come in your life, put them aside. You say, I don't understand where this goes. Put it aside. It will work. It will fit. It's gonna be all right. There's a Bible principle that says, all things work together for good. Romans chapter 8 and verse 28. And if you look at your life, saved or unsaved, okay? You look at your life and you look back at things that have happened in your life. You remember the terrible crisis that you went through 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and you thought that was the end of the world. Well, you made it through. And you're a stronger person for it, and you've got the scars to prove it. And scars mean you survived. So, don't let the things of the past go to waste, because the things that happen in our lives, we can use them for other people. We can encourage other people. We can encourage someone who's going through a tough time. Man, I did that. I had a bankruptcy, or I had a vehicle repossessed, or I had a couple of vehicles repossessed, or I had 3 or 4 vehicles repossessed, whatever you can do. But look, today is a new day. Today is a new day, and I think I'm coming on at 7 o'clock at night. So, okay, today is the end of a new day, but tomorrow is a new day. And you remember that little saying, today is the first day of the rest of my life? That's true. And you can always start over every day and change your attitude, change your outlook, and have a great life. But this is a great question, and I want to answer this question. James wrote to me, 1000 Meadow Drive, Huntsville, Alabama, 35816. If you got a question, I'll be glad to answer it. If you want to drop me a line, it doesn't have to necessarily be about the Bible or things like that, although this one is. He's got a friend who is an unbeliever, and he was asking me about, he said, I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, but he said, I've got a friend who's, a good friend who's not a believer, and it says, is there any passage or anything that I could maybe show him a prophecy or something that would maybe convince somebody that didn't believe the Bible, that perhaps the Bible is true? Let me put this message book over here out of the way. And, I had heard years ago that the greatest non-messianic prophecy in the Bible was about the city of Tyre. How that there's a prophecy, I think it is in Ezekiel, where it talks about they tore the city down and they made a causeway out to the city, and a place of casting nets and things like that. But some people would argue that that's not what that's talking about. But I think that the greatest evidence that the Bible is true. Now, the rest of this is going to be talking about Bible stuff. It's not boring. It's not like I'm going to be preaching. And if you don't believe the Bible, just consider this. Think about this. Because, to me, the thing that proves, or at least helps me, I believe it anyway. But the thing that kind of helps me to believe it, or at least reaffirms, no, it don't help me to believe it. I believed this before I ever learned about it. I believed the Bible before I ever learned about this. But the greatest prophecy, the greatest evidence that we see in the world around us right now, the greatest thing that's going on right now in your life, it's going on in your life right now. It is going on in your life right now. And that is the thing of the RFD chip. I think it's RFD. Let me look. I believe that's what they call it. Since it's the chip that they're talking about, let me look up on the computer right here to make sure that's what I should have looked this up earlier. Y'all just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. The RDF chip. That is it. It's the RFID chip implant. This chip that they're talking about, putting under your skin, and they're talking about, they do it with dogs now and cats. If you lose your cat or dog, they can scan it and they know, it'll tell you where the critter belongs, and so you've got a prophecy in the book of Revelation. Now, I can remember as a kid. Let me get my Bible out here. I got this Bible. I used to glue pages in my Bible till I found out about this place in Mississippi that would take your Bible apart and put a blank page in between every page and then put it back together. And so I bought me a wide margin Schofield Bible years ago. In fact, I bought this and sent it over there in February of 1989, and I've been putting notes in this Bible ever since. I told my wife, I said, if the house catches on fire, save that Bible, and we can replace the kids quicker than I can replace that Bible. But it says, I'm just kidding. It says, listen to this. This is neat. In Revelation chapter 13, listen to it. It said, he talking about the Antichrist, and he said he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Now this is the prophecy that I'm talking about. It's called the mark of the beast. You've heard about it. When I was a kid, I used to, you'd see a movie. And in the movie, the Distant Thunder or a movie about the rapture of the church or something, whatever it took. And you'd always see these people with 666 written on their forehead or 666 written on their hand. And for years, people believed that. And for years, people said, well, you'll always be able to tell because they can see the 666 written on their forehead or on their hand. Do you know the Bible does not say that it's written on their forehead or on their hand? But we've always thought that. That's not what it said. It said, listen to this. And again, I'm just, hey, believe it or not, I'm not throwing it out there and saying you need to believe this, but I'm just saying it's true. You can't help but believe that what the Bible talked about, the King James Bible, 1611, over 400 years ago, when this Bible was translated, this Bible talked about the RDIF chip that's going to be implanted in your hand or in your forehead. That's what they're talking about doing now. They're talking about they're talking about it now. They talk about it all the time. Even Walmart now is talking about the fact that if you have this chip, you can have the chip in your hand, you go get groceries, and you don't even have to go through the checkout line, which is a great thing because Walmart will have 25 checkout places and on 2 people working, and the lines are like, but what you do is you get all your groceries, bag them up, put them in your cart, and walk out. And when you walk out, you go between these 2 transmitters, and they pick up all of the information on the groceries that you have, and they pick up that chip. And it all comes out of your bank account, and you don't have to do anything. Now listen to this, because this is the greatest prophecy in the Bible that would tell you that the Bible is true. You see, I could talk about Jonah and the whale, and somebody said, I don't believe about Jonah and the whale. I could talk about Noah and the ark. Somebody said, I don't believe about Noah and the ark. We think about the Bible, and we think about, camels and dust and dust mites and robes and sandals. But the Bible is applicable today. Now listen to this. Listen to this verse. It's Revelation chapter 13, and verse 16. All right. So the Antichrist is going to come on the scene. The one world government. Everybody's trying to get it going now. They said we need a great world leader to take charge. Well, he's coming, and he'll be here before long. Not before too very much longer. Verse number 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. It says it here. It said, and for years we've always had it's on their hand or on their forehead. It don't say on their hand. It don't say on their forehead. It says in their hand or in their forehead. So it's going to be implanted in your hand. And it says here that you can't buy, in verse 17, that no man might buy or sell save he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And so that chip being implanted in your hand now. Now it's voluntary now. Somebody says, well, I'll never take it. You don't have to worry about it now. The beast is not in charge now. He's, if somebody gets a car tag that says, it's a Madison County tag, and it's it says 47 DP 666. And somebody says, I'm not putting that on my car. That's the mark of the beast. That's 666. It's not right now. You don't have to worry about it now. But what happens is, after the rapture of the church and when the Antichrist takes over, he's going to take over everything, and you're not going to be able to buy or sell without having that chip implanted in your hand. And listen, let me read it to you again. This book, this Bible, was translated back in 1611. So we have, and I use the King James Bible, but it's translated in 1611. So that's over 400 years ago. Over 400 years ago. In fact, there's another prophecy. Let me look over here in Revelation chapter 11. In Revelation chapter 11, it talks about the two witnesses. There are two witnesses that are killed in Jerusalem, and it says, and I don't know, yeah, here it is, verse number 8. Verse number 7. And when they had finished their testimony, the beast that ascended out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. Now get this. This is verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord is crucified. And I get this. This is the prophecy. And all of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be moved or be buried. Now, how could it be that 400 years ago, over 400 years ago, or even longer than that actually, when the Bible was written, with this AD 96 Revelation, but when John wrote this, how could he know that the bodies that are lying in the streets of Jerusalem are going to be able to be seen by people all around the world? Every kindred, tongue, nation, every nation, they're going to see it. How could that possibly happen? It happens through CNN and Fox News, worldwide cable news. It's going to happen. It's a prophecy of the communications that we have today. But going back here to Revelation, and I don't know that I'm going to have time to talk about it, but it says that let us number, what is it, verse number, let's see, and I better not try to get to that right now, because he talks about let us calculate the number of the beast, and I'll probably do that on another broadcast. But he talks about computers, and he talks about the fact that you can't buy or sell. It's going to be electronically scanned, and that chip is in there. And so that chip that's come on the scene now is voluntary now, but when the Antichrist takes over, it's not going to be voluntary. If you don't take it, you can't buy. You can't sell. Why? Because everything's going to be set up for that. That's what's happening. You see it happening around you right now. And so, what I would suggest is that if you've never trusted Christ as your Savior, you need to get saved. You need to trust Christ. And then, if you are saved, you need to get busy. Well, listen, friend, I just wanted to encourage you today, and I hope that helps you to see that, the Bible is applicable today. It is, it's a book for today. It's not something that goes way back there. But think about that. Think what's going on. In fact, I don't know that I can find one. Let me see here. Let's see. He talks about 666. I don't know that I have anything with a universal product code on it. I could maybe find a book that had it on there. Yeah, here's one. This is the UPC, the Universal Product Code. Now, I've looked into this, and I'm pretty much convinced that it's true. It talks here about nobody being able to buy or sell except they have the mark of the beast in their hand or in their forehead. But the Universal Product Code is what's read by the computer. And if you look it up, and I challenge you, look it up, the Universal Product Code has a 6 at the beginning, and a 6 in the middle, and a 6 at the end. And I mean, look, it's coming true as we speak. The Bible's coming true, and things are falling into place. I tell a story about how that during World War II, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941, and by May and June of 1942, the Americans knew that the Japanese were going to try to take Wake Island. I'm sorry, not Wake. I was reading about Wake yesterday. Midway. They were going to try to take Midway Island, and so they had broken the Japanese code, but they weren't real sure they weren't real sure about what was going to happen. They, kind of like, well, it could be the West Coast of the United States. We really can't commit what few resources we have until we know for sure what's going to happen. And so they had broken the Japanese code, and they did several things to kind of assure them and convince them of what was going on, but there was still a little bit of doubt in their mind. Well, they knew that one of the things that the Japanese had planned on doing was attacking Dutch Harbor in Alaska. And so they stationed the American fleet off the northwest coast, I believe it was, or northeast coast of northeast of Midway, to kind of be in a central location to see what the Japanese were going to do. And the Japanese had sent their carriers out and were going to destroy the rest of the American fleet. They had submarines waiting for them at French frigate shoals to get them when they came out, although the Americans parked a PBY there and they couldn't surface the submarine to get any information, and so they were kind of blinded there. But the Americans, they thought they knew. They thought they knew what was going to happen, but they weren't sure. Well, as time went on, they began to see what they had learned from the Japanese code begin to take place. It began to fall into place. And when the Japanese attacked Dutch Harbor, well, that's what we have here. They were supposed to attack Dutch Harbor, and it's beginning to fall into place. And of course, I believe that the Battle of Midway turned the tide for America. The Battle of the Coral Sea maybe slowed them down, but I know the Battle of Midway turned the tide for the Americans in the Pacific when they sank 4 Japanese carriers in just a short period of time. But here's my point. They're looking and they're thinking, this is what we've got written down here. What we think this is going to happen. And then they saw and say, yeah, this is beginning to happen. This is happening here, and this is happening here, and it began to fall into place. Well, see, if you believe the Bible and you look around, you say, hey, things are beginning to fall into place. It's beginning to happen, as it was in the days of Noah, as it was in the days of Lot. Oh, brother, it's really happening. It's falling into place. And so, hey, if you've never trusted Christ, I'll be glad to talk to you about it. Love to talk to you about it. Drop me a line. Give me a chance to talk to you. We call the broadcast the Unstoppables because I can do all things through Christ, but you can do a lot of stuff. You can do better. You can do more, and you can achieve great things if you just put your mind to it. I can do more. I can be better. I'm unstoppable. Meadow Drive Baptist Church, 1000 Meadow Drive, Huntsville, Alabama, 35816. And if I'll give you the address again, Meadow Drive Baptist Church, the Unstoppables broadcast, Steve Andrews, 1000 Meadow Drive, Huntsville, Alabama, 35816. And if I can help you, get in touch with me. Give me a call. My phone number is 256-337-0663. That's 256-337-0663. If you got a question, I'll be glad to answer it. It doesn't always have to be about the Bible. Got another letter here. It says, Dear Pastor Andrews, we raise St. Bernards, full-blooded St. Bernards at our home in Madison. And one of our St. Bernards was impregnated by a Chihuahua, and we do not understand how this could have happened, and we thought maybe you might be able to shed some light on it. Well, the only thing I can say is that obviously somebody put him up to it.